Polar Bears, a National Geographic Kids book by Laura Marsh. Polar bears. Wow, look at that bear. The table of contents lets me know what page to look for information on. I think we're going to learn a lot about polar bears in this book. Who am I? I'm white and furry, and I swim in the sea. The cold snow and ice are just right for me. Who am I? A polar bear. Big bears. Have you ever seen a polar bear in the zoo? Polar bears are big, really big. They are the biggest meat eaters on land. A polar bear can weigh as much as 7 men. A polar bear's body is built for the Arctic. These bears have thick fur to keep them warm. Polar bears have thick fat, too. The fat keeps body heat in and keeps the Arctic cold out. Look how the snow sticks to the polar bear's thick fur, and it doesn't even make them cold. This polar bear is all wet, and he's still not cold because he has thick fat under his fur to keep him warm. Powerful paws. A polar bear's paws do many things. Paws dig dens in the snow. They break the ice to find food. They also pull food out of the water. Pretend you're a polar bear. Let's see your enormous paw stretched out. Can you pretend to dig a den in the snow? Can you pretend to break the ice to find food? And can you use your paw to pull the food out of the water? Polar bears have long, thick, curved claws that grab food easily. Thick pads keep feet warm. Front paws are webbed like a duck's feet. This helps polar bears swim. Bumps on the foot pads keep bears from slipping on the ice. Big paws keep bears from sinking into the snow. The paws are larger than a dinner plate. Super swimmers. Polar bears are great swimmers. They spend a lot of time in the water. Their front paws paddle. Their back legs steer. Their fat helps polar bears float. What's for dinner? A polar bear eats other animals. Seals are its favorite food. This bear is hunting seals on the sea ice. Seals come up for air at holes in the ice. The bear waits and waits. Finally, a seal appears. The polar bear snatches it in a flash. Polar bears have good noses. They can smell a seal 20 miles away. Polar bears have good hearing and eyesight, too. These come in handy when looking for dinner. This bear has spotted an Arctic fox. The ice melts in spring and summer. Polar bears stay with the ice when they can. They move to land when the sea ice is mostly gone. On land, they usually don't eat at all. Some bears may eat bird eggs. They may eat plants or berries, but there is not much food for polar bears on land. Bears in town. In Churchill, Canada, polar bears come to town in the fall. The ice is melting earlier each year. It is forming later, too. The bears are hungry. They are looking for food. Our Earth is getting warmer. There is less sea ice now. This is dangerous for polar bears. They need the ice to hunt. 7 amazing polar bear facts. Number 1. The largest polar bear ever recorded was 2,209 pounds. That's the weight of a small sports car. Number 2. Polar bears have black skin underneath their white fur. You can tell by their black noses and black lips. You see that? Number 3. Sometimes polar bears get too hot. Then they take a swim or roll in the snow. Number 4. Walruses are one of the few animals that polar bears are afraid of. Number 5. Some people go on vacations to see polar bears. They ride in special buggies to stay safe. Number 6. Polar bears can eat 100 pounds of seal fat at one time. That's about as heavy as 400 hamburgers. Do you think you could eat 400 hamburgers at a time? A polar bear could. Number 7. Polar bears clean themselves by rubbing their bodies on the snow. You might take a bath or a shower. A polar bear takes a roll in the snow. Those are amazing facts about polar bears, aren't they? Cute cubs. Every new polar bear is special. A mother bear has babies called cubs. She digs a den in the snow. The cubs stay safe and warm in the den. The cubs drink their mother's rich milk. They grow quickly. Soon they are big enough to leave the den. A mother polar bear teaches her cubs how to hunt. She also teaches them how to stay safe and warm. The cubs leave their mother when they are 2 years old. They are ready to live on their own. Playtime. Polar bears like to play just like you. Bears wrestle with each other. They slide in the snow. They like to play games too. Sometimes a cub gets a ride from Mom. These bears are off on an Arctic adventure. The last page is like a puzzle for us to solve. Can you help figure out what part of what these pictures are? This picture helps the polar bear find his dinner. It's his nose. You don't have one of these. Can you tell what that furry thing is? It's a tail. The polar bear has a tail. Hint, this is a polar bear's favorite food. It's a seal. This keeps a polar bear warm. His fur. I bet you knew that one. This is built for snow, ice, and water. It's the polar bear's big paw. And the last one, polar bears are afraid of this animal. It's a walrus. I hope you enjoyed learning about polar bears with this book.